What's up guys, Jim Collector here, back again with another unboxing and review. And yes, I know this figure has been out for a minute and there's been a million reviews out there, but I got this at Christmas from my wonderful girlfriend and I just haven't had time to post up my own review until now. So guys, without wasting any more time, let's get stuck right into the unboxing. Alright then guys, so getting stuck into the unboxing, and I'm doing a voiceover this time around, which isn't something I normally do, so we'll see how this goes. But here you do see the slipcover, which is nice and glossy. We're getting quite used to these on the newer InArt releases. This seems to be a bit of a mainstay. They did of course have that on the Batman as well, and underneath the slipcover you have this really nice box art, so you get that nice silver metallic kind of S for Hope, obviously not for Superman, and you can kind of see the bats from it. It kind of fits the Batman v Superman motif, and it's a really nice box, and it reminds me a lot, although completely different films and even different movie universes, it reminds me a lot of the packaging on the 2022 The Batman. Very similar motif and design, and of course you do have your InArt logos down the bottom. And it's just a lovely piece. You've got more on the side. I like the glossy bats down there. They look quite nice. It's just really premium packaging. And then of course you've got, "If you seek his monument, look around you," which is a really nice quote from the film. Is it a quote? I guess it counts as a quote. More of the same on the side. And then of course you do flip it open to reveal a nice foam inlay. And I quite like this design with the Batman v Superman logo on the side. It's kind of a It's a nice look inside. I like the blue. And then we do flip this up and we get some stuff that we're normally quite used to seeing at this point. It is of course all of the instruction manuals. You get the really awesome movie, what do they call it, movie tickets. Kind of wish you still got movie tickets like that instead of just a paper receipt in the UK these days. And I need to figure out a way to display those as well, because they're too nice just to hide away. But here we have our first look at Superman, and as you can see, everything is wrapped in plastic. I kind of almost wish they didn't just dump him in a plastic packaging like this. I feel like in a way it cheapens it. I get it from a figure protection standpoint, but I just don't like it. And here we have our first look at Superman, aka Kal-El, aka Clark Kent. And straight first thoughts, it's such a nice piece. Now obviously at this point I've had this for a little while, so I've spent a lot of time with it, and even now at this point I can say I absolutely love this figure. Just straight from here you can see the shine, like the shiny metallic bit from the suit. Whether that's film accurate I can't tell you, but it gives it a really nice effect in good lighting, which is nice to see. Proportions phenomenal. Really like the kind of the body they've used for this with those with the muscle techniques as well. I think it looks nice. His shoulders look well capped. I feel like the suit feels like good quality. It's really thin, which took me by surprise. The cape as well, absolutely gorgeous. This is my favorite stock cape, stock Drake cape that I've ever received, and we'll see it later. It's also my favorite ever wired cape that I've ever seen with a stock wired cape anyway. So you do get some good ankle articulation there, which is good to see. A bit of side to side, up and down. I assume it's a ball joint just here, I'm not completely sure. Good ratcheted knee joints with a solid double bend right there, and you get a good amount of posability off of him considering the suit. It does bunch up some of the fabric, so I was always a bit concerned. Now I have tested out the fabric since and put him into some extreme poses, and it does seem to bounce back. You get a bit of creasing, but it irons out on its own, so that's quite nice to see. I would just still just be cautious when you pose this. Like, move the arms slowly, don't rip them up really quick, so you don't want to tear any of the seams. It is nicely tailored. It doesn't feel like it should do that, but you never quite know. So there we are. But yeah, really nice suit, and I absolutely am loving this figure so far. It's definitely one of the highlights in my collection. Okay, so now we of course have a lot of the different hands. They're all wrapped in plastic. I think I just show you this one. So this is just a gesturing hand. They're really nicely done. I do have to say, like, hands are hands at the end of the day, and they're not they're not the thing I look forward to the most, but well done hands do make a huge difference to the immersion or the realism of a figure, more so than you think initially. Like really plasticky hands really take away from the piece as a whole. So I'm glad that they put a lot of detail. Like you can see the veins and all the bone work and stuff through there as well. And of course we do have his angry sculpt, and it is pretty good, I won't lie. It's a nice sculpt. You do have that kind of weird rooted bit of hair, which is kind of so glued down it's pointless being rooted, but it's a nice sculpt. The likeness is still there to Henry Cavill, but for me, just especially on this suit as well, like it looks less angry, more evil is my thing with this, so I do like it. It's probably not the main sculpt I'll have him displayed with. I mean, that might change, but it is a really nice sculpt. I mean, for me, likeness wise, well, just sculpt wise, I think the neutral sculpt is definitely the better of these two sculpts, but they're both phenomenal. I mean, the angry sculpt has more detailing in it, just because of the creases and the furrowing of the brow and the set of his jaw and things like that, so that's really nice to see. Right, so now I believe we're going to move on to checking out his first kind of accessory that you see, and that is of course the Kryptonite Spear. And this is a really nicely done accessory. The Kryptonite on top is so well detailed and so well painted, it looks almost like a real bit of stone. Obviously it is plastic, but it has a fantastic kind of stone glass effect, which is really nice to see. Honestly, it's brilliant. It's a bit sharp as well, so do be careful. Keep out of reach of children, for sure. The spear itself, really nicely detailed. The paintwork, the dry brushing, the metallic sheens, all of it is just so well done. It's almost funny to get a Batman accessory with Superman, which is interesting to see. But no, it's a really nicely done accessory. I'm really happy that we've got this, and almost, I'm not sure if I'm going to display it with this. We'll see kind of what poses I come up with, and in fact, actually, I did end up displaying it with the spear a little bit, with the angry sculpt, but then I switched it out in the end. And then, of course, under this we do have tree number 2 and the display base. Just get that silica gel out of the way. Here we have the display base, and this is, I love this base. This is such a nice base. It's I like the shape of it, I like the design of it. Of course, it does have its magnet function, which isn't awful, I don't find. I've had my Superman in like a walking pose for a while now, and he hasn't fallen over once, even with some wobbles, so the magnets are okay. It's just about positioning. Obviously, if you pop this bit up, and this is surprisingly well stuck in, so it is hard to get this out, so do kind of shimmy it off, don't just pull it because you might damage it. Obviously, under here we do have the slot for the clear flight pole, which is here, which you do have to pop, I think, the top on as well. So and we'll see kind of how that fits in a little bit later. So it's just got this top here, and that slots into Superman's back. You do have to unzip his suit, which is a little bit scary, but honestly it's not an issue, so don't worry about it. If you've been wary of doing that, honestly don't worry about it. But the base is really nice. I love the detail, I love coloration. There's your mechanism. I struggle to open this, I'm not gonna lie. You do have to twist it and kind of pop it out. I found it quite difficult to do. As you can see right now, I'm struggling quite a lot to get that off. I can't remember, do I do this or do I give up? Okay, I'm going to take it off camera. Let's pop back in just a second. Alright, I kid you not, I had to cut out about 1.5 minutes of footage of me struggling to open this, but as you can see, I did finally get that off, but gosh, was that a struggle. And then you can see the magnet system in here. Now, like I said before, the magnets have served their purpose. My Superman hasn't fallen over once. Maybe I'm just lucky in that regard. The magnets definitely could be stronger though, there's no doubt about it. On my Pennywise figure and the first Artisan Joker, the magnets, although not perfect, are a lot stronger. The Joker has fallen over, but that's mainly due to the ankles, not to the magnets. So I think I do try it here. So it did feel like on the Joker you can almost hold the base, and on these it does stick. It doesn't feel as strong, it doesn't hold the base here, but when you get the pose right and you get the magnet set up right, it does hold it quite well. I remember initially being a bit disappointed with these magnets, But as time's gone by and as I've used the figure more, I've fussed around with it, I've kind of leveled up with it, shall we say, on how to use the base and magnets. It served its purpose really well, so I'm happy enough with the magnets on this base. All right, I think we're almost done. We do have the, I think this is the lump of kryptonite. No, the Batman mask. Okay, so yes, we do have the Batman mask. I like this quite a lot. It's nice that they included it. So I do a lot of figure photography, although not as much recently as I'd like. But this will be really good for some solid photos. I need to do something with this. I don't think I've taken one like that just yet. But it's nice. Then of course you do get these slightly disturbing Martha kidnap photos, which is cool. Like, it's a big plot point in the film, to be fair, because it's how Lex controls Superman to a certain extent, and you know, Martha, and all that. So I get why they included it. It's not an accessory I'm gonna have out on display at all, to be honest. This will probably just stay in the box. Now we have the chocolate block of kryptonite, the lump of kryptonite, and similar to the spear, honestly, whatever it's plastic, they've done this really well. It's nicely translucent, almost see-through. It does look like a chunk of alien rock or meteorite, and it has a nice glow effect to it as well. Almost like if you get some lighting on this, the green's really going to emanate from it. So yeah, it's a really nicely done piece. I think they did a really good job with this, and it's kind of cool that it's included. Again, I feel like I don't want to display my Superman with this nearby because it should weaken him, theoretically, as it is kryptonite. So there we go, but nonetheless, a good piece to have. Right, and here we have what is probably the best stock wired cape I've ever seen on a figure. This thing is absolutely fantastic. The way it moves, the way it folds, it's just beautiful. Now the pegs, okay, maybe that's a bit of a letdown on paper. Great idea, but in practice there are some definite issues, which we'll kind of talk about a little bit later, but it's great. All right guys, now what we're going to do is we're going to get Superman out and we're going to get him some poses and kind of give our final thoughts. So I'll catch you on the other side. All right guys, and here we have our first pose, and oh my god, this figure has some serious presence, even in a basic pose like this. And it's a lot of it is due to his size and just how beautiful this figure is, but a lot of it, and I mean a lot of it, is down to how expressive that you can be with that wired cape. It's just such a good cape. I mean, look at the details in it here, absolutely fantastic. But being able just to kind of like futz with it at the bottom there, just create like the illusion of wind, it creates so much depth and character and life to the pose as well. So you can museum pose the shit out of this and it will still look like a dynamic piece just because of the fantastic cape that it comes with. And that really helps, because I have had no issues since I got this with the material at all. I put it in some dynamic range poses and it's been completely fine, bounced back, recovered, looks just as good as it does here even. But if you did want to take it that extra mile and be a little bit more careful, this is a great kind of idea of how to pose him but make him look real. All right, now what we're going to do next is we're going to punch in and check out that head sculpt. I love this head sculpt. I think it is almost a 90% level of spot onness of that sculpt. I mean, especially here. Now it does have a slight downside, which we'll look at now, and it's a bit unavoidable, but it is obviously where it connects. I feel like if the hair had maybe covered all the way down so you don't have that skin neck seam, it might have looked a little bit nicer. So you do kind of need to see it head on like this for it to look as realistic as possible. But in all honesty, that's an absolutely fantastic Henry Cavill likeness. All right, on to our next pose, and now obviously we've got him in a basic flying pose, and again, this is almost a museum pose. Now we have opened up the suit, which we'll look at in a little bit, but God, again, that cape just kind of steals a show. It looks fantastic, and the suit itself is beautifully done. I really do like this suit. It looks so nice both on the shelf and on camera. In the details as well, I mean, the boots are beautifully done, all of the stitch work in the suit, and that metallic body, I love how it works. One concern is these kind of rubbery bits on the suit there that you can kind of see. They might pose issues down the line, but again, I've had it for a couple of months and it's been perfectly fine so far. But guys, this is probably my favorite pose that I've done for this figure so far, and just look how it sparkles. He's literally sparkling like a goddamn vampire. Not a vampire that I'd like, but yeah, he looks absolutely fantastic, and that cape just creates so much depth to the pose once again. Alright, so now we have switched it up for our third pose, and I thought I wasn't going to do it justice if I didn't try an angry head pose, and here we go. And do you know what? This looks really good. I really like this pose. If I wanted to do an evil Superman, like Injustice style, and I love that storyline, by the way, this would be a great way to go. And I have got the drape cape, and you can see here how beautifully it does just drape. The folds look natural. You can futz with it even more and it looks even better, but this is a beautiful, beautiful cape. It really is. Right, now on switching out the cape, this is what I mean by good on paper but not perfect in practice. You can see here how much it tugs on the suit, so just be super careful when you do this, because I have seen that those rubbery bits have ripped in the past for other collectors. As for inserting the flight pole, as you can see, you do have to unzip the back of his suit, and you have to kind of pull down slightly to clear the hole, which a slight design issue there, but I've had mine in a flight pose for a while and I've had no lasting damage to the suit, no stretching or anything. It just pegs into the slot there. It looks scarier than it is, honestly. This was quite easy to do, so I wouldn't worry too much about attaching him to that flight pole. Again, with mine, I've had no issues. Alright then guys, now it is of course rating time, and now for this figure, and bearing in mind I have had it since Christmas, so I've spent a good amount of time for it, so I've had time for the hype to, you know, die down, and honestly it hasn't died down. I still look at this piece every single time I walk into the collection room, and that's really as it should be for these figures. So my rating for this, honestly, is going to be a 9 out of 10. The reasons for this is that the figure itself, and bear in mind I've had it for quite a while now, I'm still just as hyped for it as I was when I received it. The capes, both capes are phenomenal, both head sculpts really good, great bunch of accessories as well. The only cons I can really think of are the potential dangers of plugging and unplugging in the different capes. The magnets could actually be a little bit better, although he has held pretty sturdy for me. But other than that, this is a pretty close to perfect figure. Maybe the neckline, that is a bit unsightly from certain angles. But guys, that about does it there. Thanks for stopping by to check out this video. Stay tuned, I do have some videos soon. I do have the Jack Sparrow, and I do have a Resident Evil figure that I'll be unboxing very soon. So as always, this is Jim Collector. I'll see you again soon.